some news just coming in on the Rhea Chakraborty case. And this case, remember, involves actor Sushant Singh Rajput and his mysterious death. Now, the NCB, the Narcotics Control Bureau, has charge-sheeted Rhea Chakraborty, Sushant Rajput's girlfriend at the time, or ex-girlfriend, and 34 others in this alleged drugs case involving Sushant Singh Rajput. And let's go across to Arvind for more. And Arvind, the charge against Rhea is that she purchased marijuana?
Yeah, Gargi, the Narcotics Control Bureau has filed a charge sheet in that case, alleged case of drugs involving a late Bollywood actor Sushant Singh Rajput. So this particular charge sheet has been filed before the Mumbai NDTV court, and almost 35 people have been charge sheeted by the Narcotics Control Bureau. Among those 35 who have been charge sheeted, one Rhea Chakraborty and also her brother Rhea Chakraborty, both of them are also added as accused in this particular charge sheet by the NCB. So the main charge against Rhea Chakraborty is that she received and also she delivered cannabis to Sushant Singh Rajput. That's the first ground on which the NCB has charged sheeted her. The second ground is that she made payments for those deliveries, for those cannabis deliveries. So because it involves small quantity of cannabis, that too it happened between March 2020 to September 2020, and that's why the Narcotics Control Bureau has invoked almost 5 sections against Rhea Chakraborty. One for procuring cannabis, small quantity of cannabis, and also second for making payments for those, and also third very important charge is regarding financing all this illegal drug trafficking, and also the fourth one is regarding the criminal conspiracy. If Rhea Chakraborty is held guilty by the Narcotics Control Bureau court, that is NDTV court, then she stands for an imprisonment of over 10 years in this particular case. So 3 very important grounds. One, she received drugs, that is cannabis, small quantity of cannabis from 3 individuals, and then she delivered it to Sushant Singh Rajput. Second, she made payments for those deliveries for those small quantity of cannabis. So these 2 are the grounds based on which the Narcotics Control Bureau has charge-sheeted Rhea Chakraborty in this case, along with 34 other individuals.
Right, and Arvind, at the time, this was such a sensational case because there's been such a controversy over Sushant Singh Rajput's death. There was, it was also being called a witch hunt against Rhea Chakraborty. We know she spent time in jail as well, and you know, her lawyers have always argued that whatever she did at the behest of the late actor, and the amounts are so small. And it's also been questioned why the Narcotics Control Bureau, that's meant to be chasing a drug mafia and big wheelers, dealers when it comes to drugs, is going after people who are involved with very petty amounts, isn't it?
Yeah, Gargi, let me read verbatim what the Narcotics Control Bureau has stated in their charge sheet. The Narcotics Control Bureau has said that Rhea Chakraborty received many deliveries of cannabis, small quantity of cannabis, from Samuel Miranda, Rhea Chakraborty, Dipesh Sawan and others, and handed over those deliveries to actor late Sushant Singh Rajput and made payments for those deliveries at the instance of Chauvet and Sushant Singh Rajput during the period March 2020 and September 2020. So it's very clear, even Narcotics Control Bureau in their charge sheet has said that she received all this small quantity of cannabis and then she delivered it to Sushant Singh Rajput at the instance of Sushant Singh Rajput, and she also made payments for those at the instance of Sushant Singh Rajput. So that's where this has been the ground of Rhea Chakraborty's counsel, also saying that she has never used, she has never consumed any drug, let it be cannabis or let it be any other drug. She has only received and gave it to him at the instance of Sushant Singh Rajput. That was her defense, which in Narcotics Control Bureau itself has stated or confirmed in the charge sheet. So now we have to wait and watch whether the NDTV court will proceed against her based on the charge sheet that has been filed against her, because there have been 4 to 5 serious charges that have been included against her, including financing illicit drug trafficking. That's a very stringent provision that has been invoked against her, and if the court holds her guilty, then she stands for almost over 10 years of imprisonment. And that's why we have to wait and watch for how the trial court proceeds against in this particular matter, because the sole ground that has been invoked against Rhea Chakraborty is that she received the deliveries of small quantity of cannabis and then she gave it to Sushant Singh Rajput at this instant, and she also made payments at this instant. That's the sole ground on which they have charged her.
Right, Arvind. Now, if we go back into this entire case, as we said, it was a massive controversy. Priyanshi, we remember the time when Sushant Singh Rajput died, and it's something that's being investigated by the CBI. We don't know what the CBI has found so far, and these drug charges seem to be like an offshoot almost of the entire investigation, because because there was so much anger at the time against Rhea Chakraborty, as well as the government at the time in Maharashtra. The government has changed. So interesting that it comes that this issue is coming up now again with the charge sheet being filed. But Arvind, it was really a reaction to the kind of anger and a witch hunt that took place at the time.
Yeah, Gargi, if you could rewind, if you could go through what all the reports or what all the speculations that were put out against Rhea Chakraborty. In fact, they said that she took some of the money of Sushant Singh Rajput, and she was the one who introduced Sushant Singh Rajput into drugs, and she was in touch with so many drug peddlers, etc. Those were the allegations that were leveled against Rhea Chakraborty. Coming to the aspect of this financial transaction between Sushant Singh Rajput and also Rhea Chakraborty, even the Enforcement Directorate, which was probing that particular angle, that particular aspect, even they have hit roadblock, and that's why we are seeing that the Enforcement Directorate has not proceeded ahead in that particular probe. That's with the Enforcement Directorate. Coming to the allegation that Rhea Chakraborty abetted the suicide of Sushant Singh Rajput, even that we have earlier we reported.
Right. Thanks so much, Arvind, for joining us there with the latest. So the NCB, they're filing a charge sheet naming Rhea Chakraborty, charging her for purchasing cannabis for Sushant Singh Rajput.